Hey everybody, this is Paul, and today I'm going to show you how to prune and tip your dragon fruit plants. You can see here it's just after the summer solstice, and this Edgar's baby, I did 0 pruning on it just as an experiment to see what would happen. And of course there are 0 buds, 0 flower buds. So what these plants do is they respond well to stress. And so I'm going to stress them out today and start pruning back growth that I don't want. So you can see here small branches that are not very big. I'm gonna go ahead and just tip some of these younger branches that are long to get them to stop growing. And I'm really gonna have to prune some of this growth off heavily here to induce flower buds. I've fertilized it, and now this is a next step. And I actually probably should have done this earlier in the season, but again, this is an experiment. I wanted to see what would happen, and as you can see, nothing but a bunch of new healthy growth. So we're going to prune some of this off, clean it up today, and we're going to induce some flower buds here, hopefully. Now this plant did produce several fruit last season, so what I like to do is just really clean it up a lot. Now if you're looking, what you see here is in Paul Thompson's Pitahaya book, that he had several examples of people that would do something similar here. The Israeli visitor that he talks about said that these plants will flower if you cut them back. Alice Snow did the same thing, and Jose Lopez actually cut back all of his branches 6 to 8 inches. So I like to have longer branches, longer the better, but anything over 6 inches will produce a fruit.
Don't forget about your boy Danny.
Oh, that's true. What did Danny say? I forgot.
He said to tip your branches at
a 45 degree angle. Yeah, that's true.
Towards the north or something, right?
Yeah, at an angle, but especially so you don't get water to sit on top of where you tip it. So in this case, you can see all these branches are bending down. So tipping it at a 45 doesn't really matter, but you can. I mean, you could even just tip it with your fingers like that. But I like to use clean shears. So let's go through this plant here quickly and see kind of how I would prune it and why. So you can see most of these branches are bent over the trellis, which is what you want. And the branches that are going to produce fruit are going to be something like season 2 or season growth. 1, these older branches here that have matured. So you can see the difference on this Edgar's baby. Young branch, mature branch.
They seem to have a more of a dark green color to the older growth.
Dark green color, thicker, and some of them you can see are quite large. So let's prune this back and let's see what we want to keep and remove. So this one has some holes in it, some bug damage. I'm just going to remove the whole branch. And again, I'm just going to tip some of this newer growth and the older growth. This one's not very long.
So you want to basically make it stop pushing new growth and start pushing buds.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of these younger branches I'm going to go ahead and tip off. Something like this I would remove. Something here where there's bug damage, see that? And it's thin. So I'm going to cut it just like that. This one's growing funky, so I'm just going to remove it. Anything small like this.
Yeah, you notice a lot of the branches, they'll start growing and then they just kind of stop and they get all stubby and they don't really seem to do much past that.
They do, or they get twisted.
Kind of want to just take all those off.
Yes, and you do just want to kind of open up the canopy a bit so you get plenty of airflow, or that way if you're worried about pests, you can keep an eye on them. So I'm just going to continue to prune back this growth here and really, hopefully, coax this plant to produce some flower buds, which it will this season. Now, ideally, you do want to prune these back. I would probably say April. April's a good time. And that way, you won't miss the first flush of flower buds and fruit. Now here's an interesting one. This is a mature branch. You can see how I tipped it and removed this growth here. So that's going to be kind of a twofold thing, to where this growth is going to now be gone, and then I tipped it right at the end here on a mature branch to hopefully induce some flower buds. Let's come around here, Scott. can see this one's kind of choking up in a weird spot, so I'm just going to remove it. And I'm going to continue doing this. I'll show you the after in a minute, but really quickly I wanted to show you something like here. You can see I tipped it last season and I did not get a flower bud off of this branch, so I'm just going to tip it. Here's where Danny's comes into play. Tip it at a 45 and remove that new growth, but also tip that old mature growth. So hopefully what will happen is we'll induce some flower buds here right at the bottom. Now you can see over here why we tip and let these branches come over the canopy. You can see I tipped it here earlier at about April or maybe May, and look at this, three flowers, and they've all turned to fruit. So tipping it after the branch comes over the canopy has really great results. So let's go finish Edgar's baby. I'll show you in just a minute what it looks like when it's all done. So you can see here, I've pruned back quite a bit. This is not just from the plant, but this is from a few plants. And I'm on my last one here, or two, to where I just want to give a little cut off the tip. Now come around here, Scott, you can see, here's one I tipped last season right here, but Danny would recommend something like this to where a mature branch here, even if you've tipped it and it hasn't produced flower buds yet, just a tiny little wound, just cut off a little bit like that, and that will also promote some, hopefully, flower buds. So you can see I have my work cut out for me. I had this whole row I left alone. So now the next plant I'm gonna do the same and repeat the process here is on this Soul Kitchen White. You can see just how much work I have ahead of me to promote this thing to produce flower buds. So lots of small young growth I need to remove. So I've got my work cut out for me today, but that's how I'm pruning and tipping my branches to induce flower buds here this season in 2022. Give us a like and a subscribe. Thanks so much for your time. Have yourself a wonderful day. Take care.